Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. If you can hear me, please put a one in the chat pod. Please put a one in the chat pod. I was trying to figure out how to go live. Oh, good, good. Hey, Harriet's in the house and Danny's in the house. Hey, you guys. Thank you so much for being patient today. I appreciate it. Can you believe it only took me 21 seconds today to get in? Normally, you guys know I'm trying to look at the buttons and trying to figure it out. So, hey, welcome back to First Friday Night Lives. I'm going to go ahead and get started with the way we always do it. Hey, Black Women Builds Wealth in the house. She's from Canada. Natural Ally D, she's in the house. Check out her channel. Also check out Lifting as We Climb's channel. She just posted a video. I haven't even seen the video, but I know I'm going to look at it. How can you pray for a long life yet dread the life that you are living? Check out their channels. Black Women Build Wealth. Check out her channel. She helps us to get our money on. So today I am going to keep this pretty short. I do want to talk and just celebrate some of our milestones as a community. So far, we started the channel in April. Remember, in April 2022. So far, we've done 87 videos. 87. I am just proud, okay? And this is our fourth live stream. We have over 1,200 subscribers and we have viewers from all over the world. Okay, I'm going to just go into some of my channel analytics as we normally do during our first Friday night lives. I just want to let you know where some of the folks are watching us from. We have, of course, most of our people are from the United States. And the second group is from the United Kingdom. Then we have Canada, South Africa, and Kenya in the house. So I am so excited. Thank you guys so much for watching the channel. Most of the individuals watching the channel are female. We have 86% and 13%. They're almost 14% of our brothers are watching the channel. Okay. So I just wanted to share a few of the demographics, and of course, this is from the analytics on this channel, and I will be sharing that every time we go live because I think that is something that is that you guys might want to know. You guys were here from the beginning, and I just want to appreciate you and thank you for looking at the channel, for viewing the channel, for sharing the channel. Many of you have given me great topic ideas that I've actually used. So I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Those are the channel milestones. Next, I'm going to talk about, let me look at a few of the comments real quick. Hey, thank you. Hey, Marissa Price is in the house. Check out Marissa's channel, Marissa Price MSW, I believe. And Marissa talks about toxic women, not toxic women, toxic jobs and Black women. She is a social worker and she talks about healing. Most recently, she gave a free webinar on helping Black women to start their own online business. So check out her channel. And I think I shouted everybody's channel out. If I didn't, just say, don't forget me, and I will do that. So next, I want to get right into the polls. As you all know, every few months, I try to do something new, learn a new skill. That's my alarm going off telling me to go live. I try to learn something new, do a new skill. So we started doing polls. So one of the polls that we did this time is we talked about EAP benefits, employee assistance benefits. And I talked about that because, as you know, July was BB Moore Campbell Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. And so I wanted to make sure that we were aware of some of the benefits that are free to us that may be offered by our employer. And one of those benefits is EAP benefits or employee assistance benefits. So the poll asked, does your employer offer employee assistance EAP program benefits? And the options were, yes, my employer offers EAP benefits no, my employer does not offer EAP benefits. And the last one was, I don't know whether my employer offers EAP benefits. So I am happy to know that 81% of the people who responded to the survey, to the poll, said that their employer offers EAP benefits. So that's good, because what it tells me is that people are aware of some of the resources that can be supportive in helping them with their mental health, self-care. So that's good. No, my employer does not offer benefits. That's also good to know, because that means that these individuals are aware of the benefits that their employer either offers or does not offer. Okay. And so they can do whatever they need to do to get that mental and emotional support, maybe through their health insurance or, through other avenues. The thing that was concerning to me was the 12% who said, I don't know whether my employer offers EAP benefits. So if you don't know if your employer offers EAP benefits, Employee Assistance Program benefits, my challenge to you today, after looking at this live, is to go to your employer and ask them, do you offer employee assistance benefits? Now, I discussed employee assistance benefits in a prior video that I did. And in that video, I discussed how Black women were having some really hard times with dealing with some of the issues that on their job, negative things that are happening to them. And the video, and just life, just life. Sometimes as Black women, or a lot of times as Black women, we feel like we cannot ask for help, because we feel like we have to do everything ourselves, and we do it without help. And I just want to remind folks, no, you can ask for help. Please ask for help. And so the video was called It's Okay to Ask for Help. And in that video, I talked about the different supports that are available to help us with our emotional and mental self-care. It's very important. So if you haven't checked that video out, I'll put a link in the description box. The other video that I encourage you to watch, and I'm recommending this video because I had a comment that was very disturbing. I've had a couple of them about women, Black women on their jobs, who are feeling very low. That's the word I'll use, okay? Because I don't want to use a word that's going to get my video blocked, but you can imagine what I'm saying. And I had a few more, and I shared those with Harriet, Dr. Kimani, and I responded and referred them to, or encouraged them to seek assistance. But I felt the need to do the video because of what I was seeing in my comments. And as things are, when one person is saying something and another person is saying something, that it's important. I did this video, and I, of course, was not even aware. I had recorded this video some time back, and I didn't even know that Marissa was going to do a video. She did a video that was called This Job Is Not Worth Your Life. And I will link that in the comments. Let me make sure I have the right name of that job. Of that video. It's called That Job Is Not Worth Your Life, Sis. Black women leaving toxic jobs. So I will link that video in the description box. But Marissa has talked about it on her channel. Of course, Dr. Kimani has talked about it on her channel. Lifting as We Climb, Consulting Wellness Services. Please check out these channels. If you are feeling some kind of way, sis, there are a lot of resources out there. I really encourage you to check them out. Dr. Kimani, who I call Harriet, and she's in the chat. She did a video where she provides the names and some different resources that are available that will help us as Black women to seek the care that we are looking for. And Dr. Kimani, if you could put the name of that video in the chat pod, and I'll also put it at the bottom in the description box. But it is a very helpful it's a very helpful, I think, tool for us to have, so that if we do need to talk to somebody, that we can go right to those resources. Okay, so I wanted to just talk about that before I move on. Um, it's a lot going on today. It's a lot. It's a whole lot. And today I don't have a specific topic. You guys can type a few things in the in the chat pot if you want to talk about something specific. But I just really wanted to come on and just encourage folks. Um, and I'm going to digress for just a second and read some of the comments. Ooh, I'm behind in the comments. So, and please hit that like button if you're in here. Please hit the like button. So let's see. We have, thank you. Harriet says, congratulations, Harriet. Thank you. Danny says, congratulations. Thank you. Somebody said, I'm going. Oh, Black Women Build Health said, I'm going. Thank you, Sam. Hi, Marissa. Marissa Price said, hi to everyone. Hi, Marissa. Marissa also said, and she has a master's in social work. She says, yes, EAP benefits were the key to me starting therapy because I had terrible insurance. Yes, EAP is very, very, very a very useful tool. The therapist that I have now, and I've been seeing her for about 10 years, I got her through EAP. I mentioned that in a prior video. When I went through EAP, I asked them for a Black therapist. They did the filter. They found her, and I'm still with her. In fact, I'll talk to her today. Okay. That's I talked to her today. So we have an appointment every other Friday. And it is very, very helpful. Also, Lifting as We Climb, Dr. Kimani Norrington Sands, she is a licensed clinical psychologist. So check out her channel because she also provides therapy. Check out her channel, go to her link. She has a lot of resources available to us. Okay, so I wanted to make sure I talked about that. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is I did a video about the Crown Act. And I got a comment that, kind of was giving me information on how the Young, I can't pronounce it, laws were passed. And that's the laws that said that Black women, whether they were free or whether they were enslaved, had to wear a wrap around their head in public. And one of the things that the person was indicating was that those laws were created by the French. I was specifically speaking about here in the United States, in Louisiana. The individual who enacted the laws here in the United States and Louisiana was a Spanish governor of Louisiana at the time. So I just wanted to clear that up. The last thing I wanted to really talk about is I wanted to talk about, I have been getting some comments about why is this channel always talking about Black women? A lot of pushback. And people are aggressive about it. Why is it about Black women? Other people go through those things too. And I just want to say, I know other people go through many of the topics that I discussed, but the channel was curated and created for and by Black women. And that's it. That's period. And if people have an issue with that, there's over 75 million YouTube channels, and they're welcome to go to one of those other channels. And I'm not going to change the focus of this particular channel, and I just won't do that. That's not something I will do, and I'm not willing to do that. And so it will remain focused on what Black women talk about, our needs. What I find curious is, if this were a Black hair channel, I don't think I'd get those comments. I wouldn't get them. But this channel is about empowering, encouraging Black women and supporting Black women, right? And so we get these comments, and some of them I respond to, some of them I respond to, some of them I just delete. because I am to the point where I'm realizing that I just don't want to be bothered. It kind of reminded me how on the job, and you guys type in the comments if you experience this. When I was working, I thank you so much. Thank you so much, Danny. Danny talks about essential oils on her channel. I didn't say that. So yeah, Kiki Jefferson said, period, right? So one of the things that these comments, when they make comments, it's not just about Black women. It's not this about Black women. One of the things that reminds me of is when people, I'm trying to turn my light to face me. When I was at work, if two or more Black women were talking, we could just be talking, not loud, not laughing, just talking. It was like the entire office stopped to see what we were talking about. And some folk would be so bold as to come over and ask us what we're talking about. Now, there could be 999 other folk talking, right? But if two or more Black women were talking in the office, it was a problem. And we even made a joke of it. I used to say, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. How many? One, two, three, four. Okay, the fourth one, you can't come over here. Okay, you can't come. All right. You got to wait until one of the other people leave. We didn't reach our capacity. And that's how sometimes I feel when I get those comments about why is this about Black women? And some of the people are men, Black men. They feel like I'm excluding them. And this is what I always say. And I respond, and those who get it, they get it. And those who don't, well, I can't help you. But one of the things I respond and say is this. This channel is curated, and the content, is curated for and about Black women, right? So when you come to this channel, almost all of my thumbnails, almost all of my titles, almost all of my descriptions say Black woman. So there should not be any confusion. Okay. I don't say purple. I don't say gold. I don't say green. I say Black. Okay. I don't do people of color. So you shouldn't be confused about that. I don't even use that word. I don't even identify that way. I don't say minority. I don't identify that way. Okay. I don't say BIPOC. I don't identify that way. I'm going to just keep it 100. I identify as a Black woman. I'll say African American because, I was born in the 60s. We went through a couple of different changes. When I was born, we was Negroes. Then we went to, I think we moved to Afro-American first. We moved Negro, Afro-American. Somebody said if we don't like that, then we moved to Blacks. Then we moved to African American. And somebody in my comments one day said, hey, we don't say African American anymore. We FBA. I said, listen, I'm done with it. Okay. I can do two and that's it. I'm going to do Black and I'm going to do African American. And people who know, they know. People who don't, they don't know. Okay. So I'm saying all that to say the channel is for us. Other people are welcome to watch as observers, right? And you can comment as a supporter. But if I get things that's going to mess up the groove in here, we're going to do some blocking. Okay. And I know how to block real quick. But what I was getting at for the example is this. You go to a men's store. I, as a woman, I go to men's stores sometimes if I want a shirt to fit a certain way. If I want a white, let's say a white shirt with a collar. I'm shopping in a men's store. How would that sound for me to go to the cashier or the customer service representative selling the item and saying, hey, this shirt doesn't fit me. It doesn't come in at the waist. Hey, the sleeves are longer than normal. Hey, A, B, C, and D. That would be ridiculous. Why? Because I came into a men's store. It doesn't mean I can't buy men's clothes. Yes, I can, but I'm in a men's store. So when people come to the channel, they need to understand they're at a Black woman's channel. I don't mention the other women out there. Are they out there? Yeah, they got their channels. I watch the channels too. And I'm sure some of them watch, but to get me to get race neutral, that ain't gonna happen. I'm not race neutral. I'm Black. Okay. Proud of it. Okay. And gonna continue to be that way. So I just wanted to put that out there because I am getting quite a few comments about that. Why is the topic about Black women? I also get comments of people trying to tell me how to tell my story. One of the things that people should know by now when they're watching me is that I know my story. I know my perspective. Now, is my story in, in my perspective the only story and the only perspective? It is not. It's told through my lens, my experience, right? What I bring to the table. And many of us sit at the table and we have different vantage points. But the channel name is Colette Elizabeth. So the channel name is going to have the vantage point that you're going to get most of the time. If I don't have a guest on giving her vantage point, is going to be mine. And I guess I don't get why that's hard for people. I don't get it. I don't get it. So anyway, that's what I wanted to do that little rant. Um, I am not the only one that experienced that type of pushback. I know several of other YouTubers that are big YouTubers. They experience people questioning why they talk to just Black women and why are you being discriminatory? Why are you being exclusionary all the time? And it is what it is. We have this thing on YouTube that if a channel comes up and it's a channel that's recommended to you and you're not interested, people can just say, hey, not interested. And then that channel won't come up anymore. But I think, honestly, ladies, I think a lot of people, they know what we are. They know that if we get together, they like, wait a minute, some stuff finna change, right? If we talking, see, they don't have no problem with us laughing loud and all that stuff. And I laugh loud, so I'm not putting that down. I'm loud. I'm the loudest person you know. Okay. I came out as my mama said I was a loud baby, so I am loud. Okay. Voice loud, everything, not ashamed of it. But when we're laughing loud, people don't have no problems with it. It's when we're talking. Okay. Somebody texting me. It's when we're talking that people have an issue. Why? Because they know uh, when we get together, we get some stuff done. And they like, well, what they getting done? You know, there's this old saying, if you want something done, give it to a Black woman. Okay. Now I used to be down for that. I'm not now. I'm not now. You give me something I don't want to do it, I don't do it. I just say I ain't gonna do that. Okay, I ain't gonna do that. So I might be, a little different. So I'm gonna read the comments and then I'll get back to, let's see. Marissa says there's power in us sharing. Yes, what we've been through with each other. The parallels are too real. They are. And I think what happens, Marissa, is that you hear people, okay, let me say it like this. Dr. Kimani on her channel is talking about women in toxic jobs. We live in a toxic country. We live in a toxic country right now. Okay. It's just the truth, right? And so many of us, to cope with that, I believe we're in autopilot. When you're in autopilot, you're not really aware. You're not really awake. You're just robotic and you're moving, you're going through the motions, right? And Dr. Kimani talks about that particularly in a workplace setting. But I believe that spills over, and she talks about this too, in your life, right? And so what are you doing when you're just going through life through the motions? You're asleep. You're not awake. And it is a survival mechanism. It is a way to protect ourselves, right? So wait a minute, I had a point. What was that point? Oh, so what I think people want is they want us to stay asleep. When I talk to Marissa and I say, Marissa, this is what happened to me. Marissa says, that happened to me too. And I talk to Dr. Kimani and she says, that happened to me. And I say, that happened to me too. And I talk to Danny and I talk to Sam. I don't know who these people texting me. Wait just a minute. Let me turn this down, this phone off. These people texting. Anyway, when we get to talking, there's a synergy that happens. And if you were asleep, that synergy is like, it shocks you awake. And then you're more excited. You're ready to move on. You're ready to do some things, to make a plan, to move forward. And I really believe that so many people, when they think of Black women, they know our strength. They know our intellect, our intelligence, our drive, right? They know what we're capable of. Of course, we don't get the credit for it, right? They consider us to be work mules, that they can work free for free. But when we talk to one another, we encourage one another to say, hey, you doing what? Dr. Kimani, I'm gonna put it on blast, Dr. Kimani. You can call me later and tell me off, but I know you won't. I left a toxic job, and currently I'm in another situation here, right? And Dr. Kimani is always, wait a minute, what time you leave? Why are you leaving at that time? Why are you leaving? You need to be leaving out of there at 8. You know what I mean? So that kind of stuff holds me accountable, right? Even if she call, I'm at the job, I don't pick up because I know she's gonna say, well, yeah, you're at the job. I don't want to say I'm at the job, right? Why am I giving that example? I'm giving, she talking about, girl, I'm giving that example because Marissa said there's power in us sharing what we've been through with each other. The parallels are too real. When you are going through some stuff and you are alone, you begin to question yourself. Is this real? Am I going through this? Marissa did a video. It was about gaslighting. Marissa, put the name of that video in the chat pot. But it was about gaslighting. And she talked about gaslighting yourself. So sometimes when we're going through things, and we go through a lot of things, we start to gaslight ourselves. Did that really happen? And that's, to me, is a way of not being awake. It's a way of being an you know how you go under how you go under anesthesia. So it's kind of like a way of anesthetizing ourselves, right? Because if I don't think it's real, and if I don't think what I experience is what I really experience, then I don't have to feel it. And then I don't have to be awake, and I don't have to face it. Right? You hear all this information about woke this and woke that, and that's a whole nother video. I'm gonna try not to get into that, but I might step in it for a second because I just am who I am. But people want us to stay asleep. If I'm talking to you, sis, and you waking me up, then I can see that I don't need to take this. It was talking to other women. I attended Exodus Summit with Stephanie Perry and Rashida Dow, that I realized that, you know what? I have options. I was on a toxic job for a very long time. And after I attended their conference, their summit, and talking to other women, I realized I had choices, and it kind of woke me up because I was in autopilot. I was going through the motions, right? When you wake up, you get to see stuff. I'll give one other example. Years ago, and I've given this in a prior video, years ago when my oldest daughter, uh, shout out to my oldest daughter. Congratulations. She just graduated from UCLA with her master's degree. She was the class speaker. If you guys want to hear her speech, let me know. I'll put a link to the video in the description box, and I'll put the timestamp of when she spoke. She spoke about getting some rest when you're a do-gooder. Hershey's book. I had introduced her to that book because I got it from Exodus Summit last year as a gift. But anyway, homegirl graduated, so shout out to her. I want to shout out to my mom. Her birthday is Sunday, so shout out to you, mama. Happy birthday. I was talking about something. What was I talking about? Oh, so my daughter, thank you. Somebody said, Dr. Harriet, I shared it with her. And yeah, it is an excellent speech. Thank you. Years ago, she was playing basketball when she was in high school. And I couldn't figure out why this girl missing the shots. She looking right at the basket, but the girl wore bifocals. She didn't have them on. She couldn't see. My poor child. And she was really trying. So what I ended up doing is I bought her some prescription goggles, sports goggles to put on while she was playing. And when she put those on, she was in the arena one day and she looked around and said, wow, it's so bright in here and clear. Has it always been like that? Has it always been like that? So when you wake up, okay, when you wake up, you see, you perceive things a little different. It's a little clearer. And you wake up, I believe, better when you're talking to other folks who are like-minded, who've either been where you are have been, and and sharing their experiences, which is what I do on my channel, which is what Dr. Kimani does on her channel, Lifting as We Climb, Consulting Wellness Services, what Marissa Price does on her channel. You know, we share our experiences because we are trying to let other Black women who have been on toxic jobs know this is not in your mind. This is happening. You are not asleep. You are awake, and you might be asleep trying to get through this, okay, to self-soothe, but this is happening. But here's the door. Here's a light to the door. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I give a lot of examples, but I'm just trying to make sure that people understand the reason why we do the channel, why I do my channel. My channel is to help Black women to go through new seasons of their lives and not be afraid to embrace those changes, to embrace them, whether it's something that we chose or whether it's something we did not chose, but to embrace those changes, to know that we will get through the other side. Now, we might be a little battered and bruised, but we're fine. I talked about affirmative action in the last live. You might want to check it out. Yes, affirmative action, it happened. The Supreme Court of the United States made a decision. They said that you cannot use race as it relates to having people admitting them to school. We know that Black women have not been the ones who benefited from it mostly. Mostly it's been white women. So that means that what we've been doing is going to continue to happen. I don't want Black women to think that they will not get into schools that they want to get into. And I don't want them to think that if they don't get into the school they don't get into, that their worth is tied to that. I actually did a video on that. I forgot the name of it. I will look it up and get that for you. You might want to check that out. It's called Another Word on Affirmative Action. Check that video out. I got blessed by my own video. Now, usually I watch them just to see, critique myself. But that video I watched a couple of times. I got blessed by it myself because I want Black women to know your worth is not tied to who you are and what you do. Your role as a mom, as a wife, as a, doctor, as a manager, as a masseuse, as a herbalist. Those are the things you do. That is your role. That is not who you are. Okay. Who you are at your essence and at your core is who you are and who you were created to be at the beginning of the earth. Okay. When God created you. I'm a Christian, so I talk from that perspective, right? You were created already, masterfully made. We all know that. So you don't have to add nothing to yourself to be like the world and how people are judging you. You got to have this way and that way and all. You don't need to do all that. You are already wonderful. Now, should we have goals? Yes, we should have goals. If we want to change some things, do what you need to do. But I don't want Black women tying themselves up. Oh, this affirmative action. Woe is me. No. Black women, despite everything that we go through, despite it all, we are the most educated people on the planet. Period. Okay? Period. We are. So that's not going to change because affirmative action changed. That's not going to change anything. We're going to do what we always do, right? We are going to get our groove on, pivot, look good while we're doing it, and say next and do what we need to do. That's why the sisterhood is so important. Okay? It's important because when I talk to you, you teach me something. When I talk to you talk to me, I may teach you something you didn't know. It's all about like a puzzle. We all bring something. My piece is cut for a space that's made only for that piece. Your piece is cut in a space that's only for that piece. It's like this. If one of these is missing, the puzzle is not complete. And I honestly believe that sometimes people don't want Black women to have a sisterhood that's true and real because they don't want the puzzle complete. They don't want us to know our power and our worth. Oh, wait a minute. I have to stop for a minute. We got Tasha Jones in the house. Now wait a minute. Tasha is a MSW, Masters in Social Work. Her channel is talks to the number 2 Tasha. You want to get some keep it real encouragement for, and she has a thing, she calls it Care Bears, okay, for people who care for folks. Check out her channel on YouTube and check out her Instagram. I'm going to have her on the show. But what I was getting at is we complete one another. See, I don't need to compete with nobody because God, he didn't make anybody else like me. Okay. When he made me, he instantly broke the mold. When he made you, he instantly broke the mold. So as sisters, we don't need to compete with one another. We don't have to. We are here not to compete against one another, but to complete one another. It doesn't mean I was incomplete if I didn't meet you. It just means that I am a better me when I met you, right? Now, there are some people that you have to love from a distance. And I'm just putting it nice because I don't do that. I usually just block and ignore, right? There are those people. We want to protect our sacred space. Not everybody has earned the right to occupy your sacred space. And some people you meet, you're like, we're going to be friends for life, right? So when we come together and when we talk, it should always be uplifting, encouraging. And I have been feeling that lately. And I got on this subject because we were talking about how some people are in the comments asking me, why is this just about Black women? Because it is. I'm a Black woman and I'm talking from my vantage point. And though we're not a monolith as Black women, we all have different perspectives. Sam on the line is from Canada. Okay. She has a different perspective from me. Danny is from Michigan. Okay. Uh, Kimani is from Chicago. Okay. She doesn't live in Chicago now, but she's from Chicago. We all have different backgrounds, right? And so when we bring that stuff together, we got some soul gumbo. Okay. Or soul, whatever kind of soup you like. And it's good soup. It's good soup. So are there any questions? Let me look at the comments. Somebody said come through. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Tasha. Congratulations to your oldest and happy birthday to your mom. Oh, thank you, Sam. Yes, wonderful video. We are more than enough. Yes. Yes, we are. You know, when I was a manager, I'm a manager again, you guys. I'll tell you that story later. I have to do a video. That's probably going to be on Kimani's channel because she probably going to want to interview me about some stuff, and I ain't even going to get into it. But when I was a manager and I managed, I hate to use the word manage because manage is just like you're overseer, which is what you are. I didn't like to look at it like that. I like to call myself a support person, right? Because I always saw myself as a servant leader. You know, I always knew that the staff could do the job without me. They don't need me. I'm just there to provide them with what they need and to support them in every way I can. But one of my biggest jobs as a manager was mentoring and coaching. And can I tell you that most of the hard work for me when I was coaching and mentoring people was just getting them to see what I see. People would think that they were not enough. They would think they had to do this, they had to do that. And I was always having to explain to people, you did this project, you did it by yourself, you did it in less time, and you used this skill and that skill and this skill and that skill and this skill and this skill and that skill. So you already have it. You've been using it. You just may not have known what it was called. You may not have realized that it was transferable skills. You may not have realized, a different name that is called by, but you already have it. You've been doing it. I cannot tell you how many people, particularly Black women, I cannot tell you how many times people would say, nobody's ever told me that. I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm here. That's why I believe I was placed, our paths were meant to cross because you needed to hear that. You've been doing it. And like Danny said, you are enough. But every day, every ad we see tells us we are not enough, that we need to lighten our skin, or we need to darken our skin. We need to straighten our hair, or we need to let our hair be curly. We need to, we need to lose some weight, or we need to gain some weight, just stuff. And all of it geared at telling us or making us feel like we're not enough. Girl, let me tell you something. I know I'm enough. Now, do I sometimes question things? I'm like everybody else. When I'm doing these videos, I'm talking to me too. Bible said David encouraged himself. Sometimes I'm doing these videos because I need to encourage myself. I still deal with, people have low expectation on me, but I don't care. I don't even care. The funniest thing that I notice is when I talk to people and they go on about they have this and they have that. I don't even trip. It's like, okay, that's good for you. But you enough. You are enough. You don't need to get in no circle to fit in a square box. And you don't need to become no square box to fit in a circle. You don't need to do any of that. You just need to be you, your size, your shape. I know what size I wear. I don't try to get no size 7 dress because why? I don't wear 7. I don't wear 7. I may not ever wear a 7 again. Okay? Am I going to lose some sleep on it? No. And if I decide to eat a cookie, I'm going to eat the cookie. All right? So I just want you all to know, and I know most of you do, y'all good. You are so good. Thank you, Tasha. I'll tell my mama you said happy birthday. Happy birthday, Miss Wealthy. Yeah, that's my mom's name, Wealthy. Yeah. So let me see. I'm gonna read some of the comments and y'all put some more stuff in there. Any topics? I'm gonna talk about reparations in a minute. Let's see. Ooh, okay. So Black Women Build Health. Sam said, soul gumbo sounds yummy. Girl, it is. And I'm not even really a gumbo person. Let's see. Lifting as we climb said, ooh, an exclusive. Looking forward to your escape. Now, you know you're wrong. You know you're wrong, Harriet. But I guess you're right. Tasha Jones, so much untapped intellectual property. We thank God for you setting so many people free. Tasha, thank you for that because you inspired me. I was not going to get back into the coaching business and I may not get into it full time. But when you were talking about the program that I did that you attended that really touched you, I was thinking about that. So I plan to make that into a course that people can have all over the world if they want it. I'll make it available to them. But she attended a course that I did. It was an empowerment course. And I'm not going to really say the name right now of the course, but it's an empowerment course that Tasha attended. And she talked about it. Tasha teaches people all over the world. And she talked about the course. And I was shocked. And I don't know why I was shocked. I don't know why. I should not have been shocked. It was a good program. People benefited from it. But see, I'm giving you the example because even I sometimes downplay my stuff. You know what I mean? Women, Black women, you have gold in your brain, diamonds, pearls, just jewels. We have jewels. And I think sometimes because we are not always acknowledged the way we need to be acknowledged, we don't always realize the absolute brilliance that we bring to this world. Okay. Um, Tasha talking about please relaunch it. I still have my binder. That was a good binder too. But we have so much brilliance. And what I want us to understand, and I know that the people on this live do, is when you are brilliant, when you are shining brilliantly, right? Your light is shining brilliantly, and we all have a light, right? You don't have to dim somebody else's light or blow out their candle to make your light shine brighter. You don't have to do that. Why? Because the intensity of your light is still what it is. You can actually take your light or your candle and you can light 1,000 other candles, and the intensity of your brilliance is still there. So we don't have to hate on one another. We don't have to side eye one another. We can be here to support one another. And that's the community that I am trying to build. I am trying to build a community that I wish I had. Okay. Um, there's this old saying, if you don't see something that you want, create it. So I'm doing that. Kimani is doing that. Tasha, Talk to Tasha is doing that. Um, Black Women Build Health. She's doing Build Wealth. She's doing that with her channel, where she's teaching Black women how to build wealth. Natural Ally D. She's doing that. We're all doing that. Marissa is doing that, right? Um, One of the things that Harriet, I call her Harriet, Dr. Kimani talks about, she talks about why her channel is called Lifting as We Climb. Okay. And it's called Lifting as We Climb, Lifting as We Climb, consulting wellness services, because the thing is, when you get out of a pit, the pit, whatever that pit is. It could be a toxic job. It can be a toxic marriage. It could be a toxic country. It can be a toxic household. When you get out and you heal, or while you're healing, if you can, reach back, right? Reach back. When I used to mentor people, I didn't charge them on the job. I could have, right? Well, I couldn't charge them on a job, but I could have said, hey, you're going to have to pay me off the job. But I would tell people, look, I am investing in you. My time is one of the most valuable resources I have. Why? Because the minute that passed by a minute ago, I don't get that minute back. I don't get it back. So I'm investing my time in you. And the only thing that I used to tell them is that I'm asking you to do is what I've done for you, reach back and do it for somebody else. At least one person. I'm not saying you got to help 120 people. At least help one person. That's all I used to ask them. And I used to ask them to we would have an agreement on it that you're going to do this. Why? Because everything is not about us, just us. Now, I do believe that there is a time and place where we need to be by ourselves. We need to do what we need to do. And sometimes we just cannot help everybody. But helping people, sometimes it's just a smile. Sometimes it's just it's going to be okay. Sometimes it's just an ear, right? So I love Dr. Kimani's channel, Lifting as We Climb, Consulting Wellness Services, because she truly does that. Every one of her videos is about helping Black women. She gives resources, talks to Tasha. She gives so many resources. I get tired. She got tons of resources, and her resources are all around the world, all everywhere. You say I need a new shoe. She know people who giving out free shoes. I'm just keeping it real. You say I got to get my teeth fixed. She know a dentist who is he giving out free dental exams. Okay. So when I have a question about stuff, when I don't know, and I'm the resource person that people know too. So if I don't know, I call Tasha. She know. I text her, Tasha, da 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 da. She, girl, let me check on it. Boom. I got a text, a link, and some other stuff. Okay. So we want to have ourselves connected with people like that. So if people, do you have any questions? Because I'm going to move on to one last thing and then I'm going to end this live. We have 49 minutes. I want to talk a little bit about reparations. I'm going to get it started. I wasn't going to talk about it, but I'm going to get it started. So I'm going to say what I got to say, and then everybody can jump in and say what they got to say, and then we're going to end. So I'm bringing up reparations because the affirmative action ruling that the Supreme Court decision came down with last week. Last month. Some of the wording, some individuals seem to suggest would support lineage-based reparations. And I don't know if I shared with you guys, I think I have more than once, that my daughter, she provided some of the analysis for the California research into reparations, lineage-based reparations. And so I'm going to just say it like this. Am I for it? Yep. And I want to check. I don't want no voucher. I don't want, none of that. I want to check. Those of us who were born in America, who have roots in America, I, in my last video, went back 5 generations, and I can go back way more than that. We were promised 40 acres and a mule. We didn't get it. We were promised all kind of stuff. I want a check. Okay. My grandmother and them, they didn't get to see their check. My great-great-great-grandmother, she was an enslaved individual. This country was built by us, free labor. A lot of companies exist because of slavery, and you may not know all the companies, but I'll just mention one. There were insurance companies that insured people who were enslaved. One of them is Aetna Insurance. Aetna wouldn't have been around if it wasn't for slavery, I don't think. Can I just keep it real? Aetna's still around. They got their seed money based on insuring enslaved humans. Okay? So I am for reparations. I know that's random. You like, Colette, how you go from empowering women to talk about reparations? Well, that's how I do. I just jump all over the place. You know how we do. So I am for it. I think we deserve it. I think we're entitled to it. Do I think that we're going to get it? I don't know. Where is the money going to come from? I don't know. They can figure that out. My feeling is there is a country that we have been sending billions of dollars to. Y'all got it. Y'all got that from somewhere. So you can come up with the money. Need to pay us. And I do want to check. Now, me and my daughter differ about that, but my daughter is, she's younger. She's not older. She's not my age. I want cash. So what does everybody else feel about it? Somebody put it in the chat box so we get this going, and then we can get off this live. Did I lose you guys? What do you guys think about reparations? Everybody quiet? Okay. Well, when I get my check, I ain't gonna give y'all nothing. Oh, Danny said reparations. I won't hold my breath. That's true. Now I ain't gonna hold my breath. But I will hold my hand out just in case something coming. But yeah, reparations. She said I won't hold my breath. Anybody else? Thank you for that, Danny. It's been a long time coming. It's about time. Yeah. And Sam, I like your I'd like to know more of your perspective because you are in Canada. And I'd love to see an outside perspective in terms of, outside of the US. So yeah, it's true. And anything else you'd like to add, please add it. Anybody else want to add something? And let me say something. I don't feel that reparations is a handout either. Oh, we got Sonia from Lack to Legacy in the house. You guys check out her channel. She teaches women how to trade from Lack to Legacy. I'll put her in the chat pod as well. She says, hello, ladies. I'm glad to catch this live. I'm glad you're here too. What did Harriet say? Harriet from Lifting as We Climb. She says, I know that they will fight so hard against. You're right. They will fight hard against it. And that's what people are doing. Even some of us, and different people have different perspectives. I have family members who don't think we should get it either. And I ask those same family members, if we get it, you gonna send back your check? They say no. They say no. So, I think it's a long time coming too. And yes, I do believe that people will fight against it. But people fought against the abolishment of slavery too. They fought against civil rights. They fought against affirmative action. They fought against all kind of stuff. One guy shared, this is from LaTasha Jones. One guy shared that they won't give out if any past due PPP. That's why they gave PPP out so easily for us to disqualify. Did you hear about that? No, I didn't hear about that. And that's the thing. They gave out those loans, those PPP loans, right? And those people didn't have to pay that back. And I am not upset about that. If they didn't have to pay it back, they didn't have to pay it back. But why are you upset? Because they're trying to cancel student loans for some people. I don't get that. That to me, I don't understand that. Yeah, you paid off your loan, so you're upset because somebody else is going to get their loan suspended. Canceled. I don't get it. But you're not upset about these PP loans being canceled or suspended. That's something I don't get. I don't understand why. I don't understand why, you would be upset. My children could not get certain scholarships because they're not first generation college students. I have a college degree. Their father has a college degree. So there were certain scholarships they couldn't even be eligible for, right? I'm not upset that other kids were eligible for that. Why would I be upset for something that's going to help other people? You know what I mean? And so I don't understand the mentality. Somebody asked me, why are some of your family members against it? You know what, Dr. Kimani? That's why our Uno games, they end up kind of violent because we talk about politics, and I have some relatives that voted for the other person who, and I'm not Democrat or Republican. I'm an independent. I've been an independent. I'm 57. I registered at 18. So that's 40. That's 39 years. So I've been a registered independent for 39, my whole voting life. I voted Republican and I voted Democrat. Okay. I voted both. I have some family members, a certain one, and he might be watching the video. He's a straight ultra conservative. And so, I have some members that are like that. And if you talk to some of your family members, you might too, but I definitely do. And they're not for reparations. Not the Uno game squabbles. Oh yeah. Our Uno games, they notorious. They notorious. We talk about you know how you're not supposed to talk about politics, religion, and what's the other one? Something else. We talk about all of it. And if people get mad at what you said, you get skipped. Okay. And then they do a reverse. And then they may do a double skip in a reverse. And people leave our games mad every year. Okay. Every single year, somebody mad at the Uno game. And the mad part don't even be about that they didn't win. It'd be about what was said during the Uno game, right? It's always something going on. And you know how we do it. We don't follow the rules, and one person, we've been playing, and keep in mind, we've been playing this for 30 years. One person, or however long Uno been out, one person always wanted to read the rules. Same person. And I'm always saying, you can't read anyway. You don't understand stuff. Why are we reading this to you? You cheating, right? Rules ain't changed. So I know I got on the tangent. Somebody said that. Yeah. And somebody said, Black folks in card games, we going to let you know at the card. We going to let you know at the card games and at dominoes. That's just how we do. That's how we do. And so, I do have some people who are against reparations. I have some people in my family who are against the student loan forgiveness. I have somebody who was against, the stimulus checks that we got. Straight out said, I'm against that too. I said, did you get one? Yeah. What? Did you cash it? Yep. I'm like, but you against it. But that's just how some folks are. I'm all for reparations. There's no value they can place on our collective work. Yep, it's true. I feel like for me, I got some things forgiven. The student loan forgiveness, I was fortunate enough to get some of my stuff taken care of, all of it actually, and it has freed me up to do things, and I feel as if, God is, first of all, we know God is good, uh, it has given me a freedom. I can actually do some things that I would not have considered doing, right? And I earned it, I feel, I shouldn't say, I'm not saying it in an arrogant way, but what I'm saying is, you know, as a public servant, which that's how I was able to get mine forgiven, public servants don't make as much as everybody else. And we could make double, triple sometimes, now my salary was good, but it could have been a lot better if I was in private industry. And so we truly are servants when we work for the city, the state, the feds, you know what I mean? And so I think that's why they let that go through with us and they closed it up. And hey, I'm grateful. But yeah, there's a person in my family who was like, I'm not for that. I said, but you for the PPP loan forgiveness? Yeah, I'm for that. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. And I don't and he got skipped in the Uno game anyway, so I don't worry about it. Any other comments? Let's see. I have okay. All right, ladies. Well, I want to thank you for joining us today. It's been awesome talking to you, and I really appreciate everybody who has come. Oh, Sonia from Lack to Legacy said they could never compensate us for the trauma. Yes. Can we just discuss that part? That okay, you can't put a price in the missed opportunities. Pay my people what you owe us. You know, um, she said, I can't believe I got to the class so late. That's okay. Sonia, where you at in the world? You not in Mexico. Aren't you in like Shanghai or someplace? Put that in the comments. Y'all watch her channel From Lack to Legacy. She be in the pool swimming, doing a video. She in Thailand. Sonia is living her best life. Sonia was a teacher, and I'm going to have her on the channel. She was a school teacher, and I forgot what city she was in. She retired, left, and honey, she traveling the world. She doing her. She doing her. Okay. I love it. But yes, I do want to talk about the trauma. Dr. Kimani, maybe you or Marissa can type in the comments, but there is something they say that Black people who were from the US, what we are experiencing, I think it's called post-slavery, post-slavery traumatic syndrome or something like that. Let me look it up. And so the trauma, it is real. It's very real. And it's called post-traumatic slave syndrome is what it's called. Post-traumatic slave syndrome. Dr. Joy DeGruy, DEGRU, did a paper on it. And the reason why I want to talk about it, because Sonia, that's good to bring it up. But I don't think that as Black people, especially us who are from the US, whose roots are in the US, understand the trauma that we're dealing with. The trauma is intergenerational, right? For example, I grew up with my great grandmother and my great great grandmother. Okay. Now, my great great grandmother's cousins were enslaved. She knew them, and I knew her, right? Do people honestly think that in our conversations, that trauma that her cousins, who she knew, okay, she did not know that trauma and we didn't talk about it? That trauma is something that's so real. Sometimes I find that some of our sisters and brothers who come to the country, and they even came from places where they were enslaved, where they came from, I don't think that we talk enough to understand the trauma that we dealt with. Many of them come to the country and They take advantage of benefits that we quite literally died for in this country. And then they come and they reap the benefits. Am I upset about it? No. But I don't like sometimes the disrespect that I feel like we get when they say we're lazy or we're this, because that's what they're thinking. What I don't think that many of them understand is that Dr. Kimani talks about something all the time. She talks about not being able to heal where you were harmed. And so sometimes immigrants come and they don't understand, why aren't Black people father? Because many of us aren't healed. That generational trauma is still here. It's passed on from generation to generation to generation. So if you were born in the Caribbean, and I'm not putting down anybody born in the Caribbean, but let's say you were born in the Caribbean and they were enslaved there, right? That's just on an island, but you come here. Well, you're not in the area where you were traumatized. You're in another country. African Americans are in the country where they were traumatized. That's why if you look at a lot of these channels where African Americans are going to Africa, a lot of them they're doing their thing. Why? Because they're not in the country where they were traumatized. However, some of the Africans in those countries, when they come to America, they flourish. Why? Because they are not in a country where they were traumatized, where they were colonized. So do you see what I'm saying? There is a trauma, right, that we have all experienced as Black people, whether you are a Black person in America, you are a Black person in the Caribbean, you're a Black person on the continent of Africa. Africa was colonized. The only African country, I believe, that was not colonized, I believe, was Ethiopia. Every other country was colonized. Every other one. Okay? Now, Africa is doing their thing. She waking up, she's seeing what's going on, and we are talking more. But getting back to what Sonia talked about was the trauma. That trauma is real, and no amount of reparations can erase that trauma. We talked about earlier, and some of you weren't here, but I talked about how shutting down as a survival mechanism. Many of us in America, Black Americans, have shut down completely. Many of us are self-medicating, whether it's illicit drugs or prescription drugs or sex or food. We are self-medicating. We are traumatized. And then you have situations where people are saying, I want to hang this flag up because it's a part of our history, but I don't want to talk about the history. I want to take the history out of the schools, but I want to hang this flag up because it's a part of my history. It's part of my tradition. Okay, well, if you can hang the flag, but let's talk about what the flag represents. It represents a whole thing. You don't want to talk about that? You don't want to talk about that? We need to talk about it. Or when people say, well, it was a different time, when you talk about how humans were treated less than animals. And people say, well, it was a different time. Well, it was a different time, but even in that time, my family were humans. Right? I don't know if I shared with you guys. I did in a prior video. I found my great 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 grandmother, Pender Hill. And I found her on the 1930 census, which means that she was about, and I saw her age. She was enslaved. Okay. She was enslaved. She was, I think about, I don't know, I think maybe 26 or 27 when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. So I found her there. I found her in the Freeman Bureau papers. I found her there. And then I also found her, and I believe this is her, on there was a period of time where the enslaved Africans were not counted as humans. They were counted with the livestock. Okay. And when you go back and do, when you start looking for your relatives, you'll see it. There's a period of time in the 1800s where they were counted with the sheeps and the goats and all that stuff. Well, I found my great 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 grandmother listed there. It all lines up the age. I think on there it says she was about 6. And they had her above her was like a cow or something. Okay. And so the point I'm making is that's trauma for you your family to be told and treated like they are animals. And it's even codified in the law saying that you are an animal. And the only reason why you got to be counted as a partial human, I want to say it was 1/5, was so that your owner could vote and count you as part of his vote. 1/5, though. 1/5. So when people say they don't understand what is happening, post-traumatic slave syndrome, thank you, Dr. Kimani, is real. I talked to my grandmother. My grandmother died about 3 years ago. She didn't go to the South. She didn't go back too often. She shared with me how they had to sit on the back of the bus and how they would have to go in the front to pay, get off the bus and go through the back door and sit in the back. So when people say, well, you weren't enslaved, but my grandmother dealt with Jim Crow and her grandmother's cousins were enslaved. So that's not far removed from us. So this is real and the trauma is real. It's in the land. We have entire cities, and I'm getting on a tangent, but we need to do another live. But we have entire cities in America. Cities, not cities that were created by Black people after the Emancipation Proclamation that were flooded on purpose so that they don't exist anymore. My grandfather, I found out, he lived in a town. Oh, I forgot the name. I'll have to tell you another time. I'll put it in the comments. He lived in a town that was created by Black people. It had the first Black hospital. I can look it up. First Black hospital ever. And this was in the early 1900s, something like that, because he was born in 1900, right? So we did a thing. We learned a thing. We did all kind of stuff. And I think that we don't talk, Sonia, enough about the trauma. That trauma didn't go away. That trauma is still here. Yeah, 3. Thank you, Red State, Blue State. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, welcome. Red State, Blue State. Okay. I know that's right. We got some handles, don't we? 3/5 of a human. And that was only to be counted so that the owner to get a vote. But the trauma doesn't go anywhere. And it continues. It continues every day. We have trauma. So yeah, the reparation money, it's money that we're due. We're due more than that. I remember talking to somebody, and I'm going to jump subjects and then I'm going to end this live. I remember talking to somebody, I don't understand other groups that have an issue with us getting our money. We've paid different folks. Japanese got paid. They should have got paid. Okay. Jewish people got paid. They should have got paid. Right. I was talking to a lady and she was saying, well, my kids are Native American and they should get money. I said, they should get money. Absolutely. Did they write their paperwork? Did they do their analysis? Submit that? They need to get paid. But because we write our paperwork and we do our analysis, everybody don't need to be hanging on our stuff. We always do and. We always say Black and, African American and. This ain't no and this time. Okay? We'll help you write your paperwork. We'll support you getting your money, but this is not an and. Okay? Because I'm about tired of the and. I want everybody to get what they're entitled to, but we this is not an and, because your ancestors did not go through this. This is particular when we talk about lineage-based reparations. It is not because of discrimination. It is not because of redlining. It is not because of any of those things that are injustice, right? It is because you are the ancestor of an enslaved individual. Period, point blank. We ain't add nothing else to that. I ain't adding that. Nope. I'm not going to add anything else to that. And so the way we got to this conversation, for those of you who are new, just now coming in, is that I mentioned that some people say the wording in what the Supreme Court said as it relates to affirmative action can support African American people getting lineage-based reparations, because what the ruling said is that affirmative action, and somebody who remembers it can put it in the comments. that it was set up for the descendants of slaves to get an education, to get a chance at an education. People say that statement may help us. It may help us. I'm like Danny, I ain't gonna hold my breath. Okay, I ain't gonna hold my breath, but I'm gonna keep my hand somewhere where I can get the check, and when I get it, I'm gonna cash it quick. Because folks be changing their mind. I'm gonna cash it quick, and I'm gonna make sure that it clears and all that, and then I'm gonna move it from that account. I'm gonna just keep it 100 with you, okay? That's what I'm gonna do. In fact, I got a check when I got one of them stimulus checks. I looked at it. I didn't know what it was. I looked at that check. I told my kids, I didn't know. I said, "Is this a real check?" Because I hardly ever get I hardly ever get returns. I always owe money to the IRS because of what I used to make. But I got that check. I cashed that check so quick and took that check out my account. I said, "Oh no, they ain't gonna change their mind on me. Money gone. You come back trying to get something, talking about you made a mistake. It's gone. You got to figure that out." Okay. Anyway, let's see. I'm gonna read a few of the comments and then we're gonna get out of here. Let's see. Tasha Jones said, as Black women, we are tired of explaining our Blackness. We done with that. I tell people I can't explain some things, has to be lived. You know what, Tasha? You need to say that again for the people in the back. Girl, I'm so tired of explaining stuff to folks. I did a video that said it's called Black Women. Stop explaining yourself. You good. I am sick and tired of explaining myself to people. I don't explain myself to nobody anymore. Because now what I'm doing, this is what I'm living by. Those that know, don't tell. And those that tell, don't know. So I don't explain nothing to people anymore because it's exhausting. If I have to explain why to you all the time, why am I doing that? You Googled where to get your hair done. You Googled where to get your tan. You Googled where to get your car. You Googled where to get your house. You Googled where you can move so you wouldn't have to live by me. You Googled, where you can go to school so your kids didn't have to go to school with my kids. You Googled that. So you want to know why we met? You need to Google that. I ain't going to answer it no more. There's this book that this person wrote. It's called I stopped talking race with them folks. Let me see why I stopped talking about race with I think it's why I stopped talking about race or something. Oh, it's called I Am No Longer Talking to Blank People About Race. It's a book. And I'm saying blank because I don't want my channel, I don't want no issues with it. But anyway, I'm like, Tasha, I'm tired. I ain't explaining nothing, like I told the woman who said, my kids should be able to get reparations too. And I'm like, yeah, they should. They need to write their paperwork. Get your paperwork on in. We're not writing it for you. Write your own paperwork. We're going to support you, but we're not going to be like other races and go against you and say you shouldn't get it. We wouldn't do that. We've never done that. We roll with people. We've always supported people. A lot of people who are against us, especially a lot of these people coming to the country, we supported the Immigration Act. I think it was of 1965. We supported that. If Black people hadn't supported that, that wouldn't have changed. So I'm getting on a tangent. Let me read these comments and get up out of here. I'm hot. I'm kind of getting, let's see. I think I might be having a hot flash. Let's see. I know we've normalized that suffering. Yeah, we've normalized it. And, it's funny because people expect us Black women to continue to accept suffering as a normal part of our lives. And it's like, if we're sitting down, they're asking us, oh, what do you do? How did you get here? How you get here? I had people, I shared in the video, I was in first class. It was the first time I ever had flown first class. Ain't gonna be the last because once you do that, it's kind of hard to go back. I ain't gonna lie to you. But I had people asking me what I did for a living. What you do for a living? Now you should have saw the people when I told them I'm retired. I think they was choked. I'm about to choke. I'm retired. What? Yeah, I'm retired. You know, so it's like people think we should have a struggle life. We should always be struggling. We should always have heartache. We should always have suffering. We don't always, you can reject that. And I'll tell you to reject it now. Okay, let's see. Let me read these comments. You're most welcome. Thank you, Red State, Blue State. Tell me what that name, why you have that handle. Lifting as we climb, consulting wellness says trauma becomes internalized, hence all skin folk and kin folk. Now you always starting something, Dr. Kimani. You didn't have to bring that up because that's a whole nother thing. All skin folk and kin folk. You have never lied. We have people in our community. We always have had perpetrators and we always have had infiltrators, always, right? People who they sit by the door so they can tell everything we doing. Nat Turner deal with that. We deal with it today. We talk about it in the videos, how a lot of times some of the people who are inflicting harm on these jobs, there are other Black women, unfortunately, they don't realize, I think some of them do maybe, the harm that they're inflicting on people who they are supposed to be supporting or should be supporting. And I don't quite understand where that comes from. So yes, all skin folk and kin folk. And it's true. And I think the thing that's hard for us as African Americans, those of us born in the country, when we're on these jobs, we don't always get, especially if you're of a certain age. If you're like in your 40s and older, it's kind of, you get taken aback when you have a sister or brother do some underhanded stuff at work or whatever. Because in our generation, we grew up, as sisters and brothers. Yeah, we fight with our sisters and brothers. But when we got in public, people didn't know we were fighting. Now we might hit each other behind the back or whatever, but we showed a united front. Even the immigrants that used to come to the country from Africa when I was growing up, they lived in our community. They used to eat with us. That's how I learned about some of this African food, especially Nigerians. Nigerians, Ghanaians. I mean, we knew them. And they were different. You know what I mean? And so I'm not trying to point anything out because, as you know, my kids are half Nigerian. And so, but it's a little different now. The group of people that's coming over, I still have some wonderful Nigerian friends, just amazing. I just love them and they love me, right? But there are some different things that are happening with some of the younger immigrants that are coming over. I don't think they really understand the history. Whereas when I was growing up, the other immigrants that were coming when I was growing up, they knew the history, maybe because the history was closer. Again, I grew up in the 60s. And so you still were close to the civil rights movement. So it was something that was right there and they were aware of it, right? 1964. So I was born in 1966. So they were aware of it. Maybe that's what it is. And many of the African countries that got their independence from the colonialists, they used the civil rights movement here in America as a template, right? So there was always a camaraderie between America and Africans. And it was also, at one point, we had a camaraderie with our Caribbean sisters and brothers. Marcus Garvey, he wasn't from America. He was from the Caribbean. So he wanted to unite us all. And we did used to, walk in one accord. Now, did we always agree? No, we don't have to agree. We don't have to agree. We just need to say, okay, we all going to Texas. Now, if you want to go to Texas on a train and you want to go on a bus, somebody else want to go on a ship, that's fine to disagree. But we have to agree we're going here. How we get there, that's different. And so I think we've lost that, so that's why you get into that all kinfolk and skin folk. Why? Because now we seem to be in a society and in a community and in a world where we are not acting as community anymore. It's very individualistic. It's my four and no more. People aren't looking out for one another. I hear people sometimes in these videos saying, Americans don't have culture. Americans don't have community. Yes, we do. And we always have. When I grew up, I could be outside playing in the street at midnight because everybody was watching. Okay. And if I did something, my mother and my grandparents knew it before I got in the house because everybody looked out for one another. And to some extent, we're still doing it. It's a different way, but we do have a different generation where people are not understanding the importance of community. Okay. So we do have community as African Americans, and that's what this channel is about, being sisters, whether you're in America, whether you're in Canada, whether you're in Ghana, you heard me do the analytics earlier. We got people from Kenya watching, we got people from Nigeria watching, South Africa. We're all family, right? We're family, whether we want to be family or not. You don't get to pick your family. I just told you, I have people who I'm related to close that, voted for this person. I ain't gonna get into all that because you vote for who you want to vote for. That's your business, but so I ain't gonna get into that. We can get into that another time. Let's see. Black Women Build Health said, I feel like we owe it to our ancestors to unite and conquer. Yes, I agree. I agree, Sam, because I feel like a lot of the information that is being disseminated to African Americans about our African brothers and sisters, it's the same people who perpetrating and giving disinformation to our African brothers and sisters about African Americans, right? That's why some people, I'll give you an example. Some of the people come to the country, assume that all black women are on welfare. Where if you look at the statistics, most of the people on welfare are not black. They can Google that. They're not black. Most people on welfare assistance, most people who get SNAP benefits, most people who get Medi-Cal and Medicaid, they're not black. They're not black at all. Okay? Let's just keep it 100. And so they can say, oh, but the percentages, no, the number. Most of the people who are having a lot of these issues, they're not black. But when they talk about welfare, the picture that they show is a picture of somebody who looked like me. Okay, let's just keep it real. So you're right, Sam. We do owe it to our ancestors to unite and conquer. Tasha says, cash bait, quick hollering. Tasha, now you're a mess. This says here's to keeping our hands ready to receive. Yes, keep them out. I'll stretch. Sam says, I pray that you ladies get those checks. We gonna get them, Sam, and then we gonna come to you so you can tell us how to keep our money and invest. We gonna come to you and lack to legacy, because we gonna need you to teach us how to get our financial literacy together. Tasha, so exhausting, so true, and their motives for inquiry are not often pure. Shaking my head. You're right. Most of the time they ask us these questions and they don't have no pure intent. Okay. They don't have no pure intent. Now, you guys, I'm trying to get in heaven, so I'm trying to be good. So some of these comments, y'all be careful, because make me go off. I'm gonna have to go repent about some stuff. But I'm gonna be good. Let's see how good I'm gonna be. I'm gonna read a few more comments. I love my sisters. The titles of these videos, spot on. Thank you so much, Sonia. That means so much to me, because you being another content creator, sometimes I don't know how to do my titles, and I'm learning every day. Let's see. Lack to legacy. Cheers to you, sis. Okay, y'all giving each other the cheers up. I love it. I hope you guys meet. I think you guys would love each other. Natural LID. No need to explain nothing. That's right, sis. Black Women Build Health. Nope. We done for suffering. That's right, sis. Somebody laughing at me. I probably did something. Colette, you are a great story. Oh, thank you. People say that all the time, but that's just how I do. Red board, state board. It's a board game. Oh, she's explaining their name. Okay. So red board, state board, her handle, this person, it could be a man, I don't know. This person's handle, it's a board game my son and I created about the Electoral College. Oh, you gotta let us buy that and support you. Somebody said true. I don't know what she said true to. You do quite well with the titles, Colette. Oh, thank you. So you guys, I'm gonna end this. What is this? An hour and 20 minutes? Okay. If it was any longer, I'm gonna have to charge y'all. But I'm just joking. Well, I'm kind of serious. No, I'm joking. Maybe. We'll see. So I just want to end it. I want to say thank you so much. We didn't talk about everything. I told you we just gonna talk. That's what the video was about. We just gonna talk. And we've done that. We didn't talk about what we talked about. We didn't talk about the channel milestones. We talked about reparations. We talked about affirmative action. We talked about cussing people out over the Uno game, uh, which we do. Okay. We talked about, we didn't learn something about somebody's handle. Uh, Tasha said we needed to retreat. We ready. You give it. You always trying to sign somebody to do something. You give it. You give it. Colette, this is the truth. Can't wait to work with you. Yes, I can't wait to have you on the channel. Sonia, I'll be reaching out to you. I'm late on reaching out to everybody. In fact, tonight, Dr. Kimani was supposed to be on the channel, but I couldn't figure out how to do the live stream. I was exhausted. I've been tired lately. It's hot in Fresno. Not as bad today. But I have just been, so yes, we'll get together and I'll get that interview scheduled. I want to thank you all for attending. Any last comments, questions that anybody has for anybody in the chat? For me, you guys want to say bye to one another. Tasha and from Lack to Legacy, I want you guys to meet. And Tasha, I also think you need to meet Dr. Kimani. I think you guys would love each other as well. Okay, appreciate you too. And Danny, I'll be hooking you and Dr. Kimani up. I know I was supposed to do that last week, but I've been just, girl, you got to forgive me, honey. So I'll be hooking you two up for your accountability thing. This was lovely. Oh, you guys, and don't forget Exodus Summit. Stephanie and Rashida, they dropped the tickets for Exodus Summit. They dropped them today. So y'all better try to get them. They're giving out a free book for the first 500 people. So I don't have a link to it. I could put a link in there, but I'll think about it. It was a hoot. Oh, I'm glad you came too. All right, y'all. I'm gonna end this. I love all you guys with my whole heart. Thank you for showing up. Please check out the other ladies' channels. I will put their information in the description box below. Now I'm gonna go sleep after this, so I'll probably do it tomorrow. So love you. Talk soon. Peace. And I will talk to each and every one of you at another time. See you next month if I don't see you before. All right. Bye.